Hey everybody, welcome to the Sharp Tongue Podcast, soon to be Dying Laughing, as you all know. Thank you for being here. This is a Dr. P episode. This is an episode where I post questions on my Instagram, or ability for my fans to ask me questions rather, and I answer them here on the podcast. And it's a wide range of questions, a lot of weird stuff. We're going to get into UFOs and Jessimae. I am here in my hotel room in a robe. It's pre-show. I'm in Boston. I'm in Boston, about to perform at Laugh Boston. And I'm here at the Westin, humble brag. I have no clothes on. Well, I do have a bathrobe on, but I thought this is perfect. This is very candid. Why not have a Christmas episode for you guys today? Merry Christmas, happy holidays, happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa, however you're celebrating this time of year. Merry Christmas for me. I'm a Merry Christmas girl. I start Christmas at the end of October. Full-on Christmas lover. It's my favorite time of year. I watch all the cheesy movies. They bring me solace. And the last episode of 2024, I'm going to talk about all the things that have brought me solace this year. So that'll be next week, I think. Next week or the week after. Yeah, I can't tell time right now. I don't know what day it is. But I will be talking about all the things that I've learned, ways I've navigated the year, all of the losses that I took on my chin and how I turned them into wins somehow, or what lessons I learned. So you guys can maybe relate to that and get some information and a little bit of perspective for yourself. So that'll be next week. But this week is a Dr. P episode. So I'm going to be answering a bunch of questions. But I'm excited about my show tonight. I hope you guys are having a very Merry Christmas. As I said, I celebrate it right when Halloween ends. On the Halloween night, I'm like, Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night. Hey, Merry Christmas unto you. It's when we start speaking like it's, the time of Charles Dickens. Merry Christmas unto you, and unto you, Yuletide. I just go around throwing pences at everybody. I'm in the Christmas spirit. I watch all the dumb movies. I drink eggnog. It's the only time of year I drink eggnog. I say Merry Christmas to everyone. I've been saying Merry Christmas more this year than ever in my life. And I don't know why. I feel the spirit more. I feel the Christmas spirit so much more this time of year than ever. I think because I've shed a lot of dead weight and I've shed a lot of toxicity in my life, and I feel clearer and more tapped and tuned in, if you will. And so I appreciate you guys being tapped and tuned into this episode. And if you are liking this video, don't forget to like the video, click thumbs up, subscribe to my YouTube channel. That's going to help me out in the podcast coming up, and all the episodes I'll be able to bring to you guys. There'll be a lot of solo episodes that you'll be able to enjoy, as well as some really fun, interesting guests who are people that I find interesting for my life and will bring us a bunch of information and resources and inspiration. We're never without a need for that in our life, I think. And also don't forget to call the podcast, 513-916-0930. You can call and ask a question, get some advice from me. That's why this is a Dr. P episode. We'll be having those episodes on Dying Laughing as well, to bring you guys an opportunity to ask me a question and have it be answered right here. And don't forget to check out the Patreon. That's where Sharp Tongue will live forever. Patreon.com/Jessimae Peluso. All that's out of the way. Let's get into this Dr. P episode. A lot of questions from you guys. Some of them are inappropriate, and some of them are downright ridiculous. Let's get right into it. This is from Tatum Temple, who always asks a question. For the most part, whenever I do a Dr. P, Tatum pops up in the chat. She says, I'm tired of figuring out what's for dinner every night, and I'm only 30. Help. This is a problem. Does anyone else have this, like, food atrophy? You're bored and you have no desire to figure out what to eat. You're exhausted. And I think it comes from, I've thought about this really, Tatum. I think it comes from like this thing that happens when there's too many options. It's called option paralysis. And I experience it all the time, especially in my professional life, when there's a bunch of things where I have to do my to-do list and have to get my to-do list done. I get overwhelmed by all the possibilities of what I could work on. So I end up just working on nothing. Well, there's too much to choose. I'm overwhelmed. I'm going to do nothing. Obviously, I don't do nothing. I get stuff done, but still the option paralysis kicks in and I'm like, what do I do? How do I make a decision? And we do have food boredom. What a first world problem to be like, oh, I'm so bored. I could have anything. Anything at my fingertips, and I don't want any of it. I don't want any of it. We just get bored. I'm bored of food. Can you imagine having such a surplus of food in our lives that we get bored of it? But it is difficult choosing what to eat. That's a real situation. We got to be chefs every night. And then they have these food delivery companies that still force you to put together a freaking recipe. I think that was like middle of the word dyslexia, recipe, that force you to put together a recipe. I'm not a chef. There are a few things I enjoy making. And I think that's what you should do, Tatum. Find the few things that you're good at and make those. And I always keep a box of mac and cheese or two. I keep my favorite pasta, my favorite sauce, cans of tuna fish like an 80-year-old, nuts, cheese, a bunch of fruit. You know, I love my pinza, my frozen pinzas. You got to check those out. I don't know what grocery store is closest to you, but it is a type of pizza. I think it's by the Pizza People or the Good Pizza People. I can't remember the brand name. And it's called pinza. It's a type of frozen pizza. It's the greatest frozen pizza ever. I'm a bit of a foodie. Not a snob. Well, I am a little bit of a food snob. But I will eat almost anything if I'm hungry enough. I only am selective about what I put in my body because I travel so much and I need energy and I need my body to be consistently working at a higher level. So I can't eat Cheez-Its, but I want to eat Cheez-Its all day long. Keep Cheez-Its in your cabinets. I think if you prepare in a way that you can have these foods that are somewhat healthy in your cupboards, it alleviates you having to choose. But when in doubt, mac and cheese all day long, Tatum. I hope it goes well. Let me know how it goes. Goose NG, are you pregnant? Wow. No? What? No. Thank God. But then again, I got to figure it out soon. I guess, what's the oldest? Let's see what the oldest pregnancy is. There's got to be a Guinness Book of World Record for oldest pregnancy. And I'm going to guess it's 65. Aramati Mangayama is the oldest living mother to the oldest person to give birth. Having given birth to twin girls in India at the age of 74 in 2019. She conceived through in vitro fertilization, IVF, after years of trying to conceive naturally. How many years did you, and then you're like at 70, you're like, oh God, I'm still holding out for a baby. You're almost dead. It's kind of selfish to give birth. And then you have your 80th birthday and your girl, you have to breastfeed? How do you breastfeed? I have so many questions. She gave birth to twins via cesarean in Guntur, Andhra Pradesh. Both mother and babies were healthy, no complications. Women are amazing. Other women who have given birth at an older age include Barbara Higgins. She gave birth to her son Jack at the age of 57 in 2021. She became pregnant through IVF after losing her daughter to a brain tumor in 2016. Kathy Blattner, a Waterloo woman not far from my part of the woods, my neck of the woods, gave birth to her son Charles, also through IVF in 2021. Her daughter donated her eggs to the procedure. God, why is that strange? That seems problematic. So this woman gave birth to her daughter using her daughter's eggs. My brain's going to explode. I can't even get into that. That seems like something that happens in the West Virginia mountains. Safina Namukaiwa, an Ugandan woman who gave birth to twins at the age of 70. She wanted to have children after being mocked for being childless. These women really are stretching it. 74, having twins? I can't even fathom having children right now. So I guess I've got time. So to answer your question, no, I'm not pregnant, but check back in 20 or 30 years. 40 years. Check back 40 years. I've got some time. Chris Keenan. How are you? You doing okay? Do you know you continue to become more funny? Beautiful. I love it. You probably were typing so fast, you just forgot a couple letters. And I overheard myself earlier say recipe, so I can't talk about your poor grammar when I'm losing words inside of my mouth. I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. How do I continue to become more funny and beautiful? that's very kind of you. I don't know. I guess it comes with becoming more comfortable with who I am. And I think that's a testament for how I am now and how you're receiving me, how I'm appearing to be. I think finding your niche in the world is an important thing. I guess your niche becoming your purpose. And for me, clearing out some space in my life allowed me to feel more grateful for what I'm working on, what I'm embarking on. And, I'm so gorgeous. Oh, God. Could I get any more gorgeous? Really, if I got any more gorgeous, I'd have to walk down a runway 24/7, just strutting my stuff with hair blowing in the wind. It's nice to hear. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Let's see. Edrachi. I always make your names sound really interesting and probably completely wrong. I'm sick, girl. I have a fever, body aches, and stuffy as shit. What do you do when you're sick? Sit still. It's so hard to do. When you're sick, the most important thing to do is to rest. Liquids, the broth, fruit, all of that. But the most important thing is for you to not do anything. I have a theory, and I could be wrong. I think being sick is an opportunity for your body to reset. And the last time I was sick for a month. It took a month for me to get 100%. And I thought differently about what sickness was, or at least that type of sickness. For me, that type of sickness felt more like a purging. I think I talked about it on the podcast. It didn't feel like I was sick as much as I was getting rid of toxins out of my body. And I think kind of like, this is probably a really bad analogy, but kind of like how a spider molts and gets rid of its exoskeleton. I think sometimes as humans we do that, but from the inside, where we're getting rid of a lot of our toxins. Not that the exoskeleton becomes a toxin to the spider, but it's shedding itself. And I think humans go through a shedding as well. And what we have traditionally referred to as illnesses or colds or flus, I think there's a spectrum to that. I'm not a doctor. I'm not claiming that there aren't those things. Those things exist. But I do think within the spectrum of becoming sick and having a flu and being ill, there also is an opportunity and a part of that where your body is purging itself and cleansing itself. Think about the earth and its seasons. Our world goes through seasons. Well, it used to. Right now, it's just a wintry tundra for 2 days, and then it's summer. And we better hope that we continue to have at least some cold days while our generation's alive. I don't know what's going to happen after me, but the seasons, we used to have 4 of them as kids. I know some of you listening are like, what are seasons? Yeah, there was winter, spring, summer, and fall, and they were great. And right now we just have a few days of winter and then summer, so I'm worried about the future. But hey, the future's bright because there's a meteor heading for Earth. The future's bright because the Earth is going to explode. It's not like the future's bright because we have some sort of lottery that we're going to hit. We're going to hit the lottery of exploding, like the end of the movie Melancholia. Anyways, I just took a real deep dive and a very deep reference. If anybody is into movies, Melancholia is one to watch for Christmas. It's a little dark, forewarned. But I do think becoming sick is an opportunity for you to becoming really well because your body's getting rid of stuff. So if you're sick, girl, lay down. It's so hard to do. I'm over here trying to do laundry, trying to get my to-do list done, feeling guilty because I'm sick and not doing as much as I normally do. There's also that aspect where we do too much on our day-to-day. When did our to-do lists become 15 items long? Luckily, I feel like my mom prepared me for this because we had chores as a kid and Nancy wasn't messing around. She put the list on the table, our kitchen table, passive aggressively. Put the list, the pen right next to it to let us know she had written it. So she just wrote it. She's not letting us get away with anything. Look, I wrote this list. You can see by the pen. You probably can still smell my perfume on the pen. You're going to get through this list. And we had to get through the chores. Probably sounds abusive to some of you, but no, it instilled a work ethic in us. And also that we had to earn something. I don't think the lady ever reached in her pocket to pay us anything. Now that I'm thinking of it, don't think she ever gave us a frickin' dollar. We didn't earn any sort of allowance. We just earned respect. So I think that, having all these to-dos are adding to us becoming sick, and we're doing too much, and our body just needs a freaking reset. So when you're sick and you've got fever, body aches, and you're stuffy, your body is cleansing. You may also be sick. It's probably COVID. But sit still, girl. Sit still. Let that sickness be an opportunity for you to get some real rest. If I'm being honest, the only time I actually lay down and stop doing stuff is when I'm quote unquote sick. And it happens once a year. This past summer, it was the worst it's ever been. I thought I was going to have to go to the emergency room, but I didn't. A couple of my friends have had to go to the emergency room because of sicknesses. So you got to monitor yourself, but girl, rest, put the feet up, call in favors from your friends. I was so lucky to have people sending me soup. I got snacks and food and broth and the best chicken noodle soup I ever had in my life. My bestie Sarah sent me stuff. Everybody sent me stuff. I had things delivered. I'm like, I need to get sick more often. I feel like a freaking queen. So enjoy it. Enjoy being sick. Let me know how it goes. I hope you heal. Speaking of healing, CC026, are you doing okay? Holidays can be a tough time. Holidays can be tough for all of us. You know, I'm doing great, as I've said a couple times. The holidays are very nostalgic for me, especially now that my parents are gone, my house is gone. So I'm in this sort of limbo aspect of my life where I'm creating new traditions for myself during the holiday season. And actually, one of the things that I've discovered in reading about grief and healing through grief and finding my own grief relief is one of the best ways, or one of the ways to cope with grief, is to change your traditions around the holidays or around events that you normally would spend with the loved ones who are gone. And so for me, I have had to learn how to really create new traditions for myself this time of year. And I don't think it needs to be this big, grandiose effort. I don't think you need to start so big and, I'm going to travel to St. Lucia, even though I told my sister next year we're going to St. Lucia. That's also a great idea, is to start to travel and change where you celebrate. But you can also do it on a smaller scale, from, creating your own Christmas presents for your friends or stopping by unannounced to people's houses. I know that's probably sometimes feels like an attack to a lot of people who don't want to answer the door or have company over, but stopping by a friend's house, delivering flowers, offering help, showing up and being there for friends and family, reaching out to family that you've become estranged to or estranged by or from. There's so many ways to create new traditions on a smaller scale. And I think once you start to accumulate all of these new traditions, then you've created, in a way, a canopy of a brand new tradition for yourself that contains all of these new sub traditions that you are putting into that, if that makes sense, adding a bunch of new traditions to your hat per se. And that's what I've been trying to do. Having said that, the holidays can be very hard, and I'm a human being, but I allow myself to feel those emotions when they come up. Christmas music is so nostalgic. A lot of it's creepy. There's date rape Christmas songs, and Santa sounds like he's boning everybody, and reindeers are getting attacked. I don't know what's going on in the Christmas mix, but sometimes there's also those songs, man, when Nat King Cole comes on or Bing Crosby. I'm like, my mom is dead. My dad is dead. Everybody's dead. Everybody's dead. Then everybody is dead. But we know that's how this ends. Or is it a beginning? I love that saying that you think you're at the end, but what it actually is the beginning. And so I think a lot of that death conversation also is a conversation about new life. And so around this time of year, when you're dealing with grief, it's an opportunity for you to create new life for yourself. And when I listen to these Christmas songs and I get sad, I allow myself to feel that nostalgia. I think nostalgia is a direct line to love. It is a direct line to loss, but underneath loss is love. Love is the motivating, maybe not motivating. Love is like the conduit underneath loss, and it is what fuels loss. And so when I'm feeling this nostalgia or this ache or pain or longing for my mom or my dad, I'm remembering, and often have to remind myself, I'm not going to sit here and act like I've got everything figured out. I don't. I'm a human being. I mess up all the time. I'm not perfect, but I sometimes have to actively remind myself that the loss that I feel, that nostalgia, is love. And it was love. And it still is love in a different form. And that can be hard. We can lose that perspective when we're so deep in that grief. But around this time of year, it is difficult for a lot of us. And I think it's important for you to create some new traditions, as well as allowing yourself to feel those emotions that connect you to grief and connect you to the people you've lost. And I hope you all are able to do that. So I hope that answers your question. Let's see. Ruben in Vegas. Not a question. Saw you last night at Kimmel's. Great work. Loved it. New fan here of the hot sister. Yes. Ruben, thank you so much. I had a fun time in Vegas. It was a cowboy Christmas in Vegas. No one freaking told me that. Did anyone know that was even a thing? Hello. Cowboy Christmas in Vegas. Know where I'm spending my Christmas next year. Rodeo. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. Let's go. I am a Rip Wheeler fan. Rip Wheeler's my soulmate. So let's lasso. Like yippee-ki-yay at all the things. Hi-ho silver, you know? I'm roping them in. I'm going to show up in my boots and my stirs. Apple bottom jeans. I'm going to be rodeoing all around Vegas, looking for my Christmas soulmate next year. Why isn't that a holiday movie? I'm going to have to write it. Yes, I love Christmas in Vegas. I'm going to find my cowboy hero and my cowboy soulmate next year. How come no one told me about a cowboy Christmas? Not one of you? Don't you guys know me by now? Sheesh. I know where I'm spending Christmas next year. Fun, cool. Thank you so much for coming to the show. We had a great time. I had my friend John Campanelli opening for me. We had so much fun, and I can't wait to go back. I didn't gamble once. Can you believe that? Joe Peluso's daughter. Joe Peluso lost all my college fund on one craps table. That man loved to gamble. He would go to the OTB. He didn't even need to be in Vegas. My dad brought Vegas to himself. He lost all of his money weekly at Bar Keno, Quick Draw, these, off-Broadway plays. Well, OTB is the off-Broadway play of gambling, and my dad threw down. He was betting on horses he never met or could see. Wasn't even near a track, betting on horses. No business gambling. He used to shake my sister down and myself down as well. Back and forth. He'd rally between the two of us, asking for a little money because he's low this month. He was low every month. How could you not be low? You go to play Bar Keno every damn week at Change of Pace. They set him up. They got him ready. They even knew his numbers. They would fill out the quick draw sheet for him. My dad would call me, Jess, I need $200 this week. I'm a little low. Joe, you're not low. You're a gambling addict. That's the problem. He wasn't necessarily an addict. He was so fun. He just liked having fun and spending money that he didn't have. He loved spending other people's money. I miss him so much. R.I.P. Joe. I hope you're gambling in I was going to say in Vegas, but hopefully there is a Vegas in heaven. Let's see what else we got here. Sherman, Blakey Sherms, 5465. What do you think is the cause of the mini-size drones being seen all over New Jersey at night? That's right. We got to talk about these drones. Aliens are amongst us. It's happening. I don't know what it is. Are we ever going to know? I feel like the government has been spoon feeding us alien information ever since COVID hit, and none of us really care, but maybe it's because of the way they're delving out the information. I feel like the government being like, aliens are here, they're amongst us, and that's that. It would put us into somewhat of a panic. We, as people, have a way to panic. We have a way of panicking about things on our own. So maybe we're being spoon-fed the truth. I don't know. But there are these drones that have been showing up in New Jersey. Let's see. There's a bunch of towns, many videos that purport to show drones in New Jersey, likely show planes. Visual analysis finds show planes. It sounds like a cover up. Starting in mid-November, a mystery began to take hold in northern New Jersey when residents of Morris County began posting videos that appeared to show brightly lit flying objects hovering or soaring across the night sky, in some cases above their homes. Now, my question is, did anyone do, some sort of marijuana check on these people? Were they on psilocybin? I got to tell you how many UFOs I've seen on psilocybin, or UAPs. What are we calling them now? Whatever the appropriate term is. They, them, flying saucers, I don't know. Many believe they were drones, and various theories followed, while people claiming they were part of some secret government program or even alien invasions. They're coming for us. The government's tracking us. They're pigeon-manned UFOs. Birds aren't real. All the birds are robots. New York Times mapped local airports, tracked air traffic patterns, and along with aviation experts, analyzed hundreds of videos of aircraft purportedly filmed in or near Morris County in November and December. The vast majority of these videos appeared to show planes or helicopters moving across a part of the state that brims with airports. None of the videos analyzed by the Times conclusively showed drones, though in some cases that remains a plausible explanation. There was that one video of the drone kind of hovering about an orb, actually. I think it was like an orb, or they're calling it like a plasma. There is this theory that they're actually these energetic balls of plasma, and that they think that this could be a new source of energy, that this could be a really viable source of clean energy, which would be great. Wouldn't it be great if we found out these UAPs, UFOs, were clean energy from aliens? What if aliens aren't so bad and they're like, geez, you guys are really effing it up down there on Earth. Here's some energy for you, girl. You're looking a little tired. Your summers are looking a little hot. Your air's dirty. Your water's filled with plastics and PFAs. The amount of acronyms that we don't know anything about, UFOs, PFAs, UAPs, what the F? WTF is going on? Maybe it's aliens being like, girl, you need to clean yourself. Maybe alien life is trying to get us to give Earth a flu so that she can cleanse herself of the energy that we've sucked out of her because she's sick. And so we're trying to cleanse her with all of this new energy. But there is this theory that these are balls of energetic, like a viable, clean source of energy. But that video of this orb floating around and then it shoots up into space, that was a little questionable. But then again, is it AI? Is it a video that somebody made at home? I'm just surprised these people are able to see so clearly at night. I come to a stop sign. I don't even know if there's a stop sign there. I stop at every street corner because I'm like, where? I can't even see the lights. It happens fast. These people have really great night vision. They should be in the military if they can see that clearly at night. One video in particular filmed in Somerset County and posted on Facebook on December 4th is an example of how difficult it can be to deduce what an object might be. It shows a helicopter and a second flying object purported to be a drone. How many times are they going to say purported in this article? It sounds like somebody got that in their word of the day dictionary post. Experts were unable to determine exactly what the object was, and they said it resembled a plane. Of course they're going to say that. Are they going to say, yeah, it's a UFO? They don't want us to know the truth. They want to keep us in the dark. Let's call Sam Tripoli. It's lizard people. It's a bunch of lizard people. It's wild. I don't know what they are. I don't know what to make of them. If they're here, I hope they help us out. You know what? It reminds me of Whoopi Goldberg in Ghost. Girl, you in danger. That's what the aliens are trying to say to us. Girl, you in danger. We are basically Demi Moore. Okay? And Whoopi's like, we have to figure this out because the world's about to explode. At least it feels that way. At least sometimes you're like, I don't know what's happening. But it'd be great. What would aliens do? What would they do? Would it change anything? It already feels like there's aliens amongst us. Haven't you guys been out in the world a little bit and you just see how people are acting? And you're like, no, aliens are here. Yeah, no, for sure. Trump would probably get them to vote for him somehow. He'd be able to get them out. We'd see aliens walking around in MAGA hats. So I don't know what to make of the aliens, Sherman. I hope they bring us clean energy so we can ride this puppy a little bit longer and have some fun. Let's see. We got a couple more questions here. Sick girl. Everybody asked if I was doing okay. River Roots Alchemy. Global UFO sightings are popping up. Off of, yep, so I answered that for you, River Roots Alchemy. Also sounds like you might have some sort of retreat. River Roots Alchemy, that sounds like some place where you're starting a cult. I hope it's going well. Dead Talks Podcast. What's up, David? How are you doing? He asks, what do you do when you're constipated but have a date in 10 minutes? I love all the wide spectrum of questions from you guys. That's actually a really great question, but if you're constipated and you have a date, hey, that's probably why you're constipated. Your body's locking up locking up so you can go on that date and not mess it up by having movements of various kinds. So if you are constipated, that's God. That's God stepping in and being like, I got you on this one, okay? We're going to constipate you for a few hours so you can be a gentleman and you can enjoy this date, perhaps meet your soulmate, have a great time, and not worry about anything. So if you're constipated, do nothing. Literally, I hope your body does nothing. Because the opposite is no fun. The opposite, I'm leaving the restaurant. Okay, if something needs to happen to me on that level, I'm going to tell the guy that I think I'm deceasing. It's not even that somebody died. I am dying right now, so I have to leave this restaurant. I hope it goes well. And you and I have to work together in 2025. Dead Talks podcast is a great podcast. You guys should check it out. It is solely about conversations about people who have died and how people have dealt with it. So give him a listen. He's great. I've been on it as well, but he has really great guests and they have real conversations. So for anyone dealing with losing a loved one, it's definitely a must listen. Mowgli. Oh, I get it. 1991. Is Ghislaine technically a pedophile? Wow. You know, that's a great question. I don't know if Ghislaine is technically a pedophile. She's definitely pedophile adjacent. It's a tough thing because we're getting into labeling. I'm going to consider her a pedophile because of how involved she was in all of that going down with Epstein. She certainly wasn't not a pedophile. She was closer to a pedophile than not a pedophile. Let's be real. You know, and for those of you who don't remember Ghislaine, she was the counterpart to Jeffrey Epstein. And basically, she was like the pedophile trafficker. She was trafficking. She was driving the bus. You know, she was involved in this. She had just as much involvement. She certainly wasn't not somebody who was contributing to everything that was going on. And what's the latest with Ghislaine? Let's see what this says here. We're going to go to Ghislaine's Wikipedia. Go up to the top here. Ghislaine, a British former socialite and convicted sex offender. Can you imagine that that's how people know you? And by the way, I think sex offender should go before socialite. She doesn't get any accolades now. We can't allow her to show up and be like, oh, I'm a socialite and a sex offender. No, you're a sex offender. You're no longer a socialite because your social life was used to fuel your sex offending. Okay? You were using that socialite life to get people, basically to get customers. She was found guilty of child sex trafficking and other offenses in connection with the deceased financier and convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein in 2021. She was sentenced in federal court in New York City to 20 years imprisonment in 2021 in June. And she also has recently, I think in September, filed for appeal. On what grounds, girl? You're going to appeal the fact that you were out here soliciting minors? Ew. I hope nobody appeals for her. I hope she rots in hell. Hell being jail. Jail is not a welcoming place for anybody, but especially women. It's not a nice place. And people deserve justice. You know? I love that she's appealing it. How entitled can you be? We saw the photos, girl. There's no way you're denying this. There's no way you're going to deny this. She was arrested and charged by the federal government of the United States in July 2020 with the crimes of enticement of minors and sex trafficking of underage girls related to her association with Epstein as her recruiter. She basically was like what the army uses, but for the most horrible thing ever. She's like out here like a recruitment center for Epstein Island for people to have fun with minors. She was denied bail as a flight risk, with the judge expressing concerns regarding her completely opaque finances. She has skill living in hiding and the fact that France does not extradite its citizens. She was convicted of 5 of 6 counts, including 1 of sex trafficking of a minor in December 2021. And she had 2 charges of lying under oath about Epstein's abuse of underage girls. So yeah, she's a liar. She's out here like, oh, I want to appeal. Appeal what? You should get no appeal. You should rot in jail. You know, you're out here trying to, it's just entitlement. It's complete entitlement to be like, well, we should try to appeal. No, you already appealed people's clothes off against their will. And for that, I'm out. It's a no for me, dog. Okay. On January 3rd of 2024, over 900 pages of previously sealed documents relating to the civil case against Maxwell were made public following litigation in the Miami Herald. So I guess you guys can find those documents if you're really interested in digging into this case. It's an older case, but obviously ongoing because it's in the news, you know. Here, this is interesting. In the United States, Virgin Islands, authorities there were unsuccessful in locating Maxwell during the 3.5 months they were seeking to serve her with a subpoena. So this chick was able to hide out. And any friend that allows her to sleep on the couch during that time, go to jail. Accessory. I don't know all the legal terms. Accessory. Go to jail. You're done too. Anybody trying to help this nasty ass woman do anything. Maxwell's attorneys regularly protested about the conditions of her confinement. Let me ask you about the conditions of those minors. Do we know how they were treated? Yeah, I doubt that they were sleeping on like 500 count Egyptian sheets. Okay. You don't get any considerations. And the thought that she's even appealing is, to me, so wildly delusional. So on December 28th, I think of 2021. Oh, that's not interesting. What's the latest here? On September 17th of 2024, 3 judges at Manhattan's Second U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals upheld Maxwell's 5 convictions and sentence. Well, in response, her lawyer said she would appeal to the U.S. Supreme Court. No thanks. Rot in jail. I hope the aliens take you up. And that's what the aliens, how about the aliens use prisoners, all of our prisoners for testing? That's an idea. Hey guys, we're going to, look, I know you want to test on us. I don't know why, but we're going to offer you, let us choose. We're going to offer you the people. We've got Bill Cosby, Ghislaine. We also have maybe Diddy, possibly Jay-Z. You're going to have a whole fun group of people to do some testing on. We should make that list. If they're not going to show us the Epstein list and Diddy's list, we should make our own list for aliens to abduct. People that we all agree on as a society. There might be some arguments, but we should maybe do it as a fair poll. We're going to vote fairly. We're not going to have any sort of cheating at the polls, and we're going to get these people to get beamed up, Scotty, into outer space. And good luck and Godspeed. You know, I gotta go. My show starts soon. Oh my gosh. Merry Christmas, guys. I'm so glad that we were able to chat together. I hope this brought you some enjoyment, some laughter, some perspective, some joy and fun for a little bit. Because honestly, this podcast has kept me going through my darkest time. So I hope I do that for you. I will leave you with a quote that really sat with me. It resonated with me. And it was something that I recently found. And I don't know the author, so if anybody knows the author, please email me, jessimaeplusocomedy@gmail.com. Don't forget to call the pod. Don't forget to subscribe and all of that good stuff. And I appreciate ahead of time for your support and loyalty. But this quote said that time is the only currency you spend without knowing your balance. So make sure you use it wisely. Time is all you have. And from my experience, at the end, it's the one thing people wish they had more of. And so I guess this holiday season, be very mindful of how you spend your time, where you spend your time, and with whom you spend your time. Make sure they give to you and they pour into your cup as much as you pour into theirs. And try to spread a little joy this Christmas season and holiday season and beyond. I hope I've done that for you guys. Thank you so much. Merry Christmas.